Dear friends, a very happy feast of Saint Anne, your heavenly patroness. A well-known saying of the ancient Romans is Dum Spiro Spero, which means while I breathe, I hope. While I breathe, I hope. It has been insightfully observed that humans can survive without anything except hope. Today, psychology and science affirm that hope is as essential as breathing. The rising number of suicides in a presumably progressing world underscores the critical importance of hope. Despite these various aspects of modern life foster both hopelessness and hope within us. Friends, this paradox inspired the late Pope Benedict XVI to focus his second encyclical on the theme of Christian hope, which he titled Spe Salvi, encyclical letter on Christian hope. Now, the central theme of the Jubilee is hope does not disappoint, highlighting the importance of hope in the face of global challenges such as poverty, war, and environmental degradation. Reflections on Vatican II, Mary, the first of believers, Pilgrims of Hope, highlights Mary's crucial role in the life of faith for Christians and invites all of us faithful to draw inspiration from her own example. I was quite fascinated by the main title of the theme for this year's novena in preparation for the feast of Saint Anne. SAB as Pilgrims of Hope, Jubilee Reflections on Vatican II. Today, on the last day of the novena, we have this theme, Mary, the first of believers. This is part of the reflections of Second Vatican Council. There is a series and it focuses on the role of the Virgin Mary in the teachings of the Second Vatican Council. The document highlights how the Council emphasized Mary's intimate connection to the Church and her pivotal role in the history of salvation. The Jubilee year 2025, officially titled Mary the First of Believers, is a special holy year declared by Pope Francis. This Jubilee emphasizes various themes like themes of hope, reconciliation, and unity within the Catholic Church and extends its message globally. As a preliminary, I would like to situate the run-up to the preparation of the document on Mary in the Vatican Council in the context of the entire council. The draft schema of Vatican II on Mary, which was finally elaborated as Chapter 8 of the Dogmatic Constitution on the Church, Lumen Gentium, has a long history of its own. To begin with, a debate arose during the council as regards which of the two drafts should be considered, the one on the Blessed Virgin Mary or the one on the Church. The Church Fathers finally decided, after a long discussion, to begin with the document on the Church. Another controverted issue was whether the prospected document on the Blessed Virgin Mary should remain separate on its own or instead form part of the document on the Church. After days of discussion and debate, the Council Fathers opted to integrate the Marian draft into the document on the Church and not a separate document. Finally, the title of the draft was changed to On the Blessed Virgin Mary, Mother of the Church, placing Mary within the Church. So the final document was titled The Role of the Blessed Virgin Mary in the Mystery of Christ and of the Church. Now, the 8th chapter of Lumen Gentium represents a prudent and skillful integration of two stanzas which characterize contemporary Mariology. One that would emphasize Mary's unique connection with Jesus Christ, and the other, her close link with the members of the Church and all the redeemed. The document, Mary, the first of believers, which is the 25th volume with the title Virgin Mother, is taken up for our discussion today. First of all, Mary is the Mother of God. This theme is the guiding thread in the 8th chapter of the Dogmatic Constitution, Lumen Gentium, dedicated to our Blessed Virgin Mary. In it, Mary is called 3 times Mother of Jesus, 3 times Mother of Christ, once the Mother of the Redeemer, and 3 times Mother of God, and 6 times Dei Para, that is, she who gave birth to Christ. These titles express the very special relationship between God and Mary and the place she has in the Church. She is part of the Church. The fundamental expression of the Council is to proclaim Mary's privilege as the Mother of God and as the Mother of believers. Now, friends, the Gospels underline in a particular way that Mary is the Mother of Jesus. For example, in the Gospel according to John, she is never mentioned by her name, but always by the expression, the Mother of Jesus. The Mother of Jesus is used 10 times in chapters 2 and chapter 19. John knows the name of Mary very well and uses it for the sister of Lazarus, for Mary Magdalene, and for another Mary in chapter 19:25. But John never uses that name for the mother of Jesus. If we did not possess the other Gospels, we would never know the name of Jesus' mother. John puts the relationship at the center. Mary is differentiated from all other women because she alone is the mother of Jesus. Now the text begins by noting that the council's treatment of Mary was not a separate treatise, but rather her figure was woven throughout the various documents. This reflects the council's desire to present Mary within the broader context of the revelation and the mystery of the church. The document states that Mary is intimately linked to Christ and the church. Never in isolation. She is very much part of the church, linked to the members of the church. The 8th chapter is divided into 3 parts. The first part, Articles 55 to 59, deal with Mary's prerogatives and duties from the history of salvation. The second part, from Articles 60 to 65, presents systematically Mary's relationship with the church. And finally, the third part, 66 to 67, deals with the devotion to Mary in the church. Finally, there's a conclusion. Articles 68 to 69 offers the various additional exhortation. Mary is the sign of created hope and solace to the wandering people of God. She walks with us. She guides us. She's a model for us as we journey towards our heavenly goal. The first key point made is that the council affirmed Mary's role as the first of believers. This means Mary's faith and obedience to God's plan serve as the model for the entire church. Just as Mary freely accepted her role in salvation history, the faithful, all of us, we are called to respond with the same spirit of faith and trust. The document then discusses how the council highlighted Mary's maternal presence in the life of the church. Mary is described as the mother of the church who cares for her children with great tender love and affection, and she accompanies them on their pilgrim journey of faith. Her motherly role is not limited to the past, but continues in the present as she intercedes for the faithful and offers them her protection. We can see that the document connects the events associated with Mary with the life of Jesus. At the Annunciation, Mary expresses her spirit of service and humility. In the stories of Jesus' infancy, like visitation, nativity, presentation in the temple and finding Jesus in the temple, she appears associated in the redemptive work of Jesus. Then, during the public ministry, right from the wedding feast at Cana, and then at the foot of the cross, she associates with her son. After the ascension, she prays with the apostles for the coming of the Holy Spirit. And she is taken up into heaven, exalted as the Queen of the universe. Additionally, the text notes that the council affirmed Mary's perpetual virginity, that she remained a virgin before, during, and after the birth of Christ. The document also emphasizes the council's teaching on Mary. This is very important. I would like to highlight this, that Mary does not elevate her above Christ, but rather points to her total dependence on Him. So Mary's greatness lies in her humble obedience and a complete dedication to carrying out God's plan. Thus, she becomes the supreme model of discipleship, leading others to Christ through her own faith and example. I would like to call out 5 points from this document for our consideration. First, Mary as the first of believers. The document discusses how Mary embodies the ideal of faith and discipleship. She is the model for all of us as a disciple, one who followed Jesus. She's the first one to believe in the message of Jesus. Her yes, fiat, serves as a model for all of us, the believers. And this emphasis is on her receptive nature, demonstrating her trust in God's plan. It reflects on how Mary's acceptance of the angel's message marked the inception of salvation. The second is Mary, the model of hope. Mary is presented not only as a figure of faith, but also a profound symbol of hope. The title that is used here as Pilgrims of Hope illustrates the church's journey through time and space. The third point, the theme delves into the church's understanding of Mary in the light of Vatican II, particularly focusing on her role within the communion of saints. It emphasizes how Mary is not just an isolated figure of sanctity, but rather integral to the church's mission. Her intercession is portrayed as a vital element in the believer's journey, encouraging an interrelated understanding of faith that underlines community and communion within the church. Fourth, Mary in ecumenical and interreligious dialogue. One of the essential outcomes of Vatican II is the church's engagement with other Christian denominations, and world religions. And this theme or this point explores how Mary serves as a common figure. She is the point of arrival. She is a common factor among the various faiths, promoting dialogues, fostering mutual respect and understanding. Now, by emphasizing Mary's universal significance, the document encourages believers to find common ground, points of arrival, as they share values of compassion, love, and hope that are embodied in Mary's life. And finally, contemporary challenges and Marian spirituality. In addressing the modern world, the reflections consider the challenges that the church and believers face today, such as secularism, division, and moral relativism. Therefore, this call for a renewed Marian spirituality is vital in responding to all these issues. So she is presented as a model of active involvement. I repeat, model of active engagement rather than passive acceptance, allowing believers to take on the role of advocates of justice and peace, making Mary a source of strength for facing contemporary social challenges. Now, to conclude, we have to embrace the legacy of Mary. The reflections on Mary, the first of believers, and Pilgrims of Hope from Vatican II provide rich insights into the understanding of Marian theology and also contemporary challenges. The legacy of Vatican II continues to inspire a deeper understanding of faith, hope, and community under God's plan. The document affirms that devotion to Mary is not an optional add-on, but an essential element of Christian life. As the first and greatest disciple, Mary provides a model of how to live out one's baptismal commitment with joy, with trust, and total surrender to God's will. By imitating Mary, the church is empowered to faithfully fulfill its mission in the world. And that's the task entrusted to us by the Second Vatican Council. God bless you, and once again, a very happy feast.